Alright, day 4. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling particularly optimistic today. I think it's going to be a good day. Let's have ourselves a good day. The Explorer's not feeling particularly optimistic because he's a little bit low on health, but that is going to be one of our priorities today. Secure shelter, fix the Explorer, get out a spanner and start tightening him up again. And other than that, let's just get into it. Let's try and get through 2 days today. Firstly, actually, before I forget, we've discovered a bunch of island tiles yesterday, so let's cover up all these mountains, all these grasslands. I think we've found every type of island tile now. So that's good. We've got a lot of... we've pretty much covered the main reason that we need to explore. So that's nice, innit? I'm also just going to very quickly, before we begin, trade in one of our discovery tokens here, this Pirate Saber, which is one of the scenario-specific ones, for an increase in weapon level, because, you know, I've done a bit of rearranging of our resources area, just to make everything nice and neat, and there's some things in there that we just outright don't need anymore. Anyway, without further ado, let us get into Phase 1. The Explorer is going to be dealing with this, so we have Despondency. When you are tired, hungry and scared, everything seems to fall apart. Every now and then, I do fall apart. Give the first player token to the next player. Is that it? Alright. That's not particularly difficult. That's not a particularly bad one. So yeah, it's optimism. We're not getting too bad of a thing happening today. And the threat that's going to come in is mobilization. So we can spend 1 action pawn on a banana to discard this card and get a determination token. If we do not do that, then we lose 2 morale when this gets pushed off the board. That comes into the active threats area. Cloudburst gets pushed off. We already know nothing happens. So that's that for Phase 1. Yeah, two morale loss is pretty bad. Probably worth actually dealing with that. Maybe. So Phase 2, the Explorer's actually been robbed of his determination tokens. I guess it makes sense. Coming back after that long night outside of camp, you know, he wants a bit of a rest. So the cook is going to be the one that's determined today. You know, he spent the night worrying about his loyal friend. And now he's come back and the cook's like, yes, we're in this together again. So he's very determined. Yeah, it all ties together in some weird narrative way. Phase 3, let's do the production phase. We get ourselves a wood and a fish. One of those fabled banana fish. We actually have a decent supply of wood now. 4 wood and 3 food. So we are not going to go hungry for a little while, which is great. I don't think I've really ever been in this strong a position on day 4. Of course, we are going to have to start dealing with the weather dice, but, you know, we've already found out about that. So, what are our priorities for today? We're going to go enter... actually, do we want to wait to enter Phase 4? Yeah, we do want to enter Phase 4. I'm not going to spend any of our wood on the wood pile. I've got much, much greater plans for that wood. But as we enter Phase 4 and start thinking about how we're going to assign our actions... we need to think about what our priorities for the day is. So we've mentioned exploring. Actually, we should use our spyglass now. So we got this spyglass at the end of last turn. It was in the mystery box, where we can look at the top 3 island tiles and put them back on the pile face up and in any order. So let's use that now. We're going to have a bit of a scout around and see what is coming up. So the next 3 island tiles are... nothing particularly good. I mean, they all have wood and food, but they're going to be so far away from the island, from the camp anyway, that it's not going to even matter. They all have a single discovery token on, so... I guess it's 1 action to guarantee a discovery token, which, you know, that's fair. That's not the worst action economy. There's no types that we've not discovered already. So yeah, I'm really underwhelmed with this selection that we've managed to uncover. So I don't really care what order it goes back on the stack. In fact, they are all literally the same. Like, in terms of what we need, they're all literally the same. I guess I'll put the mountains on top. Because if we somehow lose access to those mountains, I guess having a backup is probably a good idea because the mountains are required to get this fire. So exploration, honestly, not really a massive priority. That is the only thing we can spend this green token on, but we would have to send someone else to go and scout as well. Just don't know if it's worth it. I really don't. But it is one less action. Other than that, I think our priorities for today: build a shelter on the beach. That's priority 1. And priority 2 is probably to actually start getting our wood supply up. So, with that in mind, it's going to be a very build-heavy day. We're definitely going to be assigning at least 1 action to building a shelter. Maybe even 2. And in terms of actions that we need to guarantee, that's probably up there, isn't it? Yeah, I think we're going to have to guarantee that shelter is built. And that's also going to take 2 of our wood, so that's what I wanted to save the wood for. Because we don't have any fur, which we could have if I kept the goat, but we decided to go with the useless spyglass instead. And, you know, the goat was a goat, but the mystery box could have been anything. I mean, it could even have been a goat. You know how much we need one of those. I think for resurrections, I want to hedge our bets a little bit more. So let us do a build on the hatchet, which will give us an extra wood token on the tile with the camp. So that means every production round we get 1 fish and 2 wood, which is really good. That's going to take another of our woods just to craft that hatchet, though. If the build is unsuccessful and there are resources assigned to it, the resources do not get used up. We get to keep the wood. So I don't necessarily need to guarantee that. I also kind of wanted to do some hunting today. And my thought on that is, we've got a couple of things that will let us... we've got one thing, I guess, that will let us use a little bit of a surplus of food. But we could do is start getting the fur so that we can start building very, very cheap roofs. So I think we're going to do the hunting action. So the hunting action is a special action here. We have to assign 2 pawns to it, so we need to decide who's going to lead this hunting action. I think the cook is going to lead the hunting action just because the explorer's on a lot lower health. That means that the cook basically takes any responsibility for the outcome. So if they are higher than our weapon level, then it's the cook that's going to take the damage, not the explorer, which at the moment is very important. But we do have this pistol anyway, so I don't really anticipate the beast being too difficult to take down. Hunting actions are always successful in this game. It is just a matter of how successful. So how much damage you take on the way. Is this really a good use of our actions? It doesn't feel like we're getting as much done as yesterday, but at the same time we don't massively need to. Yeah, we've got rain to deal with. Yeah, we're gonna have to deal with that next turn. Hopefully, everything will work out. That's my statement for the day. Hopefully, everything will work out. A Robinson Crusoe story. So the way hunting works, as I say, the hunt action is always successful, and we will find out on this card what we are hunting and how successful it was. So we're fighting a boa. And there's a few statistics on this card. The first statistic on the left is its power level. So it's got a power level of 2. We've got a weapon level of 3. That means we do not take any damage from fighting it. But this is a bit of a really annoying enemy because the next statistic along is how much weapon level it reduces us by. So it's going to, I don't know, I guess we stab it with those sharpened bottles and smash the bottles in the process, so that can actually reduce our weapon level by 2. But fortunately that is after we've already defeated it, so that's not too bad. We're gonna get 2 food and no fur for defeating it as well. So let's deal with that now. Not really ideal. I was hoping to get a bit of fur, but it's fine, I guess. And finally, at the end of the fight, get 1 discovery token. So I guess the boa ate something, and we've just cut it open and found the remnants of some other adventurers. So let's get one of those. What's it going to be? We found an old machete inside a snake. I mean, that goes at least that goes some way to undoing the damage that that the snake inflicted. I'm not even going to bother putting that in our resources area. I know we're not doing anything else that involves weapon level, so let's just trade that in right now and deal with it now, just to get that out of the way. So basically from that we got 2 food, we didn't take any damage, and we lost 1 weapon level net total. Not too bad. Again, I was hoping for fur, so we might want to do some more hunting in the future. But we've got enough food to last the night, so that's not too bad. Alright, next up is going to be the build action. So first of all, let us deal with our shelter. So we pay our 2 wood, because we've got 2 players, so that's 2 wood or a fur to build any of these camp upgrades. That is that action dealt with. There's no... We guaranteed it by putting 2 action pawns on there, so there's no need to roll the dice. And we're just going to flip this over to a little camp, a little tent. And we'll move that down there just to show that we've got it. Now that's going to start letting us get roof and palisade, which is really the ultimate goal. But we couldn't really start building that this turn because we need the shelter first. I think the only other action we have to deal with is this creating of the hatchet. So we've used up our wood. This is going to be a risky action, so we're going to have to roll the dice. Again, there is a 4 in 6 chance of success here. So we succeed! I was definitely ready to say we fail. The explorer, who's the one leading this action, is going to take a wound. Not ideal, but, you know, we're still a little bit away from death. No adventure. It's a shame, I kind of quite like the adventures. They're kind of my favourite bit of the game. I always like those random events that just come and screw you over. And that gets us the hatchet. So let me see if I can show this off. The hatchet gets us a +1 wood token on the camp tile. So that's one of these tokens. It's a little bit of a modifier. And now anytime we gather... That's basically an extra wood resource on that tile. So every production phase we'll get a fish and 2 wood. Yeah, pretty useful. We'll start building up our wood supply that way. Obviously, it costs us a wood to make it, so it'll take a couple of turns for it to actually be worth it. I'm going to put a blue token on it to indicate that we actually have that built now. So we did succeed in everything, but it doesn't feel like we did quite as much as I'd have liked us to do. If I'd really thought about it, maybe I'd have... maybe not guaranteed the shelter and instead just built something else as well at the same time, like maybe a pot or something like that. I don't know, but, you know, we've had such a history of bad rolls so far in this playthrough that I felt like it was important to guarantee that shelter. Well, either way, we're going to have to start dealing with rain now, so as we enter phase 5, which is the weather phase, we're going to have to start rolling this rain dice. So we had a look at what sides are on it. We get a single rain cloud. If you want to know the probabilities, by the way, there are 3 sides with single rain clouds, 2 sides with double rain clouds, and 1 side with snow. So that means you have to deal with a single rain cloud. Now, I'm always tempted to use hooch, but I don't think we really need to. We've got to spare food. I don't really want to give up the wood. So for every rain cloud that we don't have roof to mitigate, we have to give up 1 food and 1 wood. I think we're just gonna have to deal with it. I think we're just gonna have to deal with it. Let's just get rid of a food and a wood because we've got enough food we've got enough perishable food anyway. The wood's gonna start coming in. Honest, any day now we're gonna start getting that wood for the wood pile. We still need 12 more wood, but we can build the mast for 3 of that. So I think we're early enough in the game that losing a bit of wood now is not the end of the world. So weather all dealt with, let us move into phase 6, the night phase. First up, do we want to move the camp? Hell no! We have just spent all day bunkering down on the beach. There is no way that is going to happen right now. Second up, we need to eat. That's fine, we have plenty of food. Oh, that's not a phrase I'm going to be able to say most days. Third part, if we do not have a shelter, we take wounds. For the first time, we have a shelter! Woo, woo, woo! Alright. So we do not take any wood from that. It's been a pretty good night phase, and we don't even have any food that's going to waste or anything. Just going to do a couple more things. At least one more thing. I'm going to use these palisades. So we've got some thorny bushes. I'm going to plant them round the camp, just because, you know, we at least have some defences then, just in case. I know some hungry animals want to come in the middle of the night. Maybe that next event is going to be something like that. Do we have anything else that we need to deal with? I don't think so. I don't think so. So let's go crazy and do day 5! Alright, finally, Explorer, it is your turn to be first player. You've had a couple days out. I hope you're feeling a little bit less despondent, shall we say. So, day 5, phase 1. It's a catastrophe! I love, like, the name of this card is so perfect. In the night, a hurricane visited the island. Put all items in the future resources space. They are not available this round. Place them back on the board after the action phase. All items. Now, rules-wise, that's a very interesting card, and it's going to let me talk about something that's not going to come up in most James Robinson Crusoe, in my experience, which is actually losing items. So we're going to lose the map, and we're going to lose the dam. Now, that means, for the map, that's pretty simple. It means we can't use the map this turn. For the dam, that actually, I'm going to... rules aren't very clear on this, but I'm going to treat it as the same as if the dam were destroyed. I'm going to say that that means we have to actually give up our food. So we do not have access to that food this turn either. The only other item that we've built is the hatchet, but specifically if you lose an item that just adds a token, you do get to still keep the token. So even though we've technically lost the hatchet for the round, there's not going to be any mechanical effects from that, and it's just going to come back, so I'm not even going to bother noting that. We're going to get the map and the dam back at the end of the action phase. So that was a pretty nasty hurricane, in all honesty. We also get the brown question marks, so we're going to have to do an adventure next time we build. Yeah, that is not good. So, the threat that's going to come off this is mending the tools. We get to mend the tools, we get to assign an action, and we can discard this card. If we don't, then we have to discard an item and cancel its effect. You know what? Even that's not too bad, because we don't really need the map anymore. So, I don't know, it's going to be a bit of a toss-up on that one, honestly. But anyway, that is going to go into threats area. The rain is going to get pushed out, so its secondary effect activates. We're going to get a rain token in the weather space, so we could be dealing with up to 3 rain clouds today. Man, it is not a good day to lose our food. Okay, this is where things are going to start spiraling. However, morale in the camp is still pretty good, so we're going to get 2 determination tokens on the Explorer. We could even increase morale a little bit more if we wanted to. Explorer's health is still really low. He is my main worry at the moment. Yeah, we really don't want to be dealing with 3 rain clouds. Now, we do still have the Hooch. Each ability on character cards can only be used once per turn, though, so I can only get rid of 1 rain cloud with it. Alright, we'll worry about this in a second. For now, we have the production phase. We're going to get 1 food, 2 wood. So that will start being some way towards useful. And now we're on to action assignment. I think we're going to have to build a roof. We're going to have to build at least 1 roof. We've got just enough wood to do that, thankfully. And again, this is probably an action that we're going to need to guarantee. I hate to guarantee actions because that's going to really start eating into our action economy, but we need to do it. We're doing less, we're getting less resources. We had a great boon from the discovery tokens, but now that's kind of drying up, and yeah, it's not looking good from here on out. Now, there is one reason and one reason only why I might want to actually do this catastrophe token, and that is to stop this from being pushed off the board. That'll reduce our morale by 2, which I really don't think we can afford to lose at the moment. Getting us 2 determination tokens every turn is so good. So I do really want to do that. I'm going to leave that there for now because I do really want to do that. What else was it that I was going to do? There was something I was thinking about, but I guess maybe not. The other action I was thinking of doing was going hunting. Get some fur for building materials. Get some food to deal with the night phase. Problem is, we're going to have no wood to discard roof-wise. Now, this seems like a good a time as any to explain it. If ever you cannot give up a resource and you need to, there is what's called the rule of unfulfilled demand, which typically, especially in the weather phase, means that for every resource you cannot give up, everybody takes a wound. Which means if we don't have any food or wood going into that weather phase, both of our characters take 6 wounds, and that is just instant death. If we hunt, we'll probably get enough food. We've still got our pistol. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to hunt, we're going to build a roof, we're going to deal with that hurricane damage. And then we're going to pray that with one negated... I mean, we won't necessarily have 3 rain clouds. I guess I am preparing for the worst case scenario. If we just have the 1 rain cloud, we've got a level of roof, we've got a hooch, we've dealt with it, fine. So that's kind of taking the stakes out of my sails here, really. But you know what I mean. Alright, I'm happy to lock those in. I think that's as good as we're going to get. We deal with this threat, so the chef is going to gain 1 determination token. I didn't really think about which character I wanted that on. But, you know, the chef is as good a character as any. It means we don't have to discard an item as well. It's good. Next up, we have the hunting action. So we're going to look at what this beast is. Hopefully it's something nice and meaty, with lots of fur. Let us see. It is a wild dog. It's a doggo. Oh. Oh. I just read the bottom of the card. Alright, so it has a weapon level of 3. We've got weapon level of 2. Do I want to use the pistol? Do I really want to take out my pistol on this poor, defenseless doggo? I mean, he doesn't look defenseless. He's got some pretty sharp canines there, but... yeah, we're going to have to use a charge of our pistol, I think. It's annoying that we're doing it for just 1 weapon level. I thought... you know what? Actually... oh no, because I am going to have to take 2 wounds after the fight. So yeah, no, I'm going to use a charge of the pistol. It's fine. I'm sure we won't need that pistol in future. Hint, hint, we're definitely going to need that pistol in future. We did not lose any weapon level from that. We gained 2 food and 1 fur. Oh man, I wasn't even thinking either about even feeding ourselves tonight. I was just thinking about getting enough food to deal with the weather. Alright, finally, if you do not have a medicine, which we do not, and even if we'd built it, we wouldn't have it this turn anyway, because of that freaking hurricane, you get 2 wounds after the fight. So that's going to be on the chef. He is the one leading the action. Not the greatest of hunts, but at least we have a fur. I'm trying to be optimistic and look on the bright side. Alright, hunting action done. It is going to be the build phase. So we're going to get to level of roof. This is guaranteed. It's going to cost us that 2 wood. Going back to supply. And now, I want to point out, Friday was leading that action. So he's the one that's going to be dealing with an adventure. Oh, wait a minute. Friday was leading that action and we've got a guaranteed adventure. Friday can't do adventures. So actually, what I did there was avoided an adventure to give him a wound. Which I feel really mean about. And he is now only on 2 health. But I guess that's a way to avoid doing adventures. I'm just going to check if that's allowed in the rules. Yeah, no, it's totally allowed. If there is an adventure token on the deck, Man Friday just takes a wound and the token's discarded. So I guess that's a way to get around it. I don't know if I'd rather have done the adventure or, like, taken a wound. If I had gone back and thought about it, I probably would have had the Explorer lead that, but, you know, I mean, I guess that's fine. Friday doesn't need to eat or deal with weather anyway, so, you know, his health is a resource as much as anything else. That's the way I'm justifying cruelty. And I think that's all our actions done already. We've had a couple of very kind of what I'd consider action inefficient days, but, you know, we've got a shelter, we've got a roof. What more can we ask for? All right, let's roll the rain die, and we're probably going to get two rain clouds. No, we've got 1 rain cloud. That's all right. We've got 1 level of roof, so that's negated. We have Hooch. So I'm going to use that to negate the other one. Why not? That Hooch is so valuable, man. It's nice to have the cook with us. Oh, it's since the action phase is over, we also get all our stuff back. Thank you. We fixed the hurricane damage. We got the dam. We fixed the map, or probably drawn a new one. I don't know. Not that we're really doing any exploration actions anyway, but you know, it's something that we can use. Yeah, I'm not feeling too bad today. So that brings us on to the night phase. We are going to not move the camp. We are going to eat. Everybody's going to eat. That's pretty good. Oh, and I guess we didn't really need to worry about food because we're going to get the dam back before the night phase anyway. I guess it was just the day that was the problem. So maybe I was worrying a little bit too much about that catastrophe that happened. But either way, it's resolved now. Everything is fine. We've got a shelter. I'm going to use the cook's ability here to discard 2 determination tokens. And I'm going to use that to heal the explorer. Now we're going to go back over this demotivation marker right there. But we're not going to regain any morale. However, if we now lose health and go over it again, we will lose morale. So you never gain morale from changing your health. You can only lose it multiple times. So it's not the best situation that we are one tile away from losing morale on both characters. But, hey, what can you do? The alternative was to heal the cook, and he's perfectly healthy. And I guess that's going to be it for day 5. Alright, this has been, I think it's probably made for a long video. But I think we're also in a fairly decent spot. Oh, that's used the food as well. I think we're in a fairly decent spot. Really what we need to focus on now is wood generation above all else. So as long as all these shenanigans with items are dealt with, we can start doing some more risky roof builds now that we've definitely got some roof. We can start building other items like the mast for some wood. We can start building the fire. We need to get some more weapon levels so we can do more hunting. Yeah, maybe we do need to explore for wood as well. Either way, we'll figure something out, and yeah, when we return, more of Crusoe. See you next time, folks. We've survived another 2 days.